Yeah, and we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dat Wrasslin podcast. It's your boy Sheepshifter. Streetkilln is busy, and Soulamazin was running a little bit late. He just finally made it. He's changed up his diet, so you know his bowel movements are irregular lately. So he apologizes for that, folks.
No, you can't say that. I made it in time.
Yowie, wowie.
Oh god.
So,
Hush!
Okay.
So the first thing that we're gonna get into is kind of where we left off last week. We told you guys we were gonna have a little special segment here where Sheepshifter watches Fyter Fest, and he goes and tells Benjamin Rivers all the reasons why he was wrong, and this show is definitely no way, shape, or form a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
There is
That's no way to go.
There is
not 10
hang on.
We're
Let's
following
be very
up
honest
on
right
something
now.
very professional.
You're
of you,
insane.
Sheepshifter.
So yeah, Fyter Fest. Let me just jump right into this. The first match, Private Party versus SoCal versus Best Friends, with Best Friends getting the W. Right? Yeah. I gave this match an 8 out of 10. Good match. Not bad at all. Had no problems whatsoever with this match. I was like, okay, off to a good start. At this point, kind of hard to get a 10 out of 10, because the only way to mathematically get a 10 out of 10 is for every single match to be...
I did not give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay, the only way for it...
Dave Meltzer.
Hang on.
What'd you give it, a 9? A 9? Well, okay, you gave it a 9.
Okay.
A 9 and a
this
half. What'd you give it?
9 yard.
I gave this whole pay-per-view a 9. But the problem is, right, so on the last podcast, I was actually like so I gave Stomping Grounds an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
And I gave Fyter Fest like a 9 because you wanna know why, right? Because of this match.
If you say it because it was much more better. I swear to God.
Yo, the last match though was fucking brutal. I'm sorry, the last match was fucking brutal.
Okay, you can't give a show. I would never ever give a show a 9 out of 10 because of one match.
Actually,
and plus,
give a match 10 out of 10
there
with
were
the whole
a couple
pay-per-view
matches that were actually good. There were a couple matches that were.
I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm saying that there weren't enough matches that were good to rate the whole show a 9 out of 10.
Okay, on the last podcast, Ben gave it 9 out of 10, and he explained why. Now this is Sheep's turn to talk, Ben.
Yeah, let
interrupt
me.
everything that he says. This is his follow up.
Yeah, it's my time to shine.
You explained yourself already.
Yeah. So check it out.
Talk.
Private Party, SoCal, Best Friends. Good shit. 5 out of 10. Happy with it. No problems.
I like Best Friends.
Then
You just said 5 out of 10.
I said 8 out of 10, douchewad.
No, you said 5 out of 10. I was like, what the? How could you give that match a 5 out of 10? That is...
All right, Ben, let him.
Comment, Ben.
Let him
Calm
finish.
down,
We
calm
don't
down.
want to spend all night on this. Okay?
Yeah, we're just gonna breeze through it, real fast, like. So, the next match was Ali versus Leva or Lena
Leva
or
Bates.
Leva, yeah.
Leva Bates.
And we had this stupid librarian bullshit going on. It was completely corny and stupid. Oh, I forgot to change the title. It'll be. Give me just a second, guys. We're gonna go blue screen.
Oh,
Yeah, so, the Ali versus... This was stupid. There's no way... I gave this a 6 out of 10. So, by default, there's no way possible to get a 10 out of 10. And at this point, to get a 9 out of 10, every match would have to be... Every match would have to be... It was not entertaining. It was...
from a point of view, it...
No, sir. I can't rename it from here.
WWE ran an angle with these librarian gimmicks, we would be so pissed off. We would be so pissed off.
Yeah, if this exact same thing were happening on WWE, you would think it was stupid, Ben.
No, I would not, because I was just like,
Yes, you would.
This is like.
If they had Dana Brooke and Aiden English playing dueling librarians, you would think it's fucking garbage.
So bad. It would be so bad.
Even Dana Brooks' gimmick, whether she was part of the Titus Worldwide.
That's why I picked her. That's exactly why I picked her, and I picked Aiden English because he's the closest guy I could think of who could act like that dude did.
Gimmick,
Aiden English was entertaining because of his voice.
True. But
I didn't care for it. But either way, Ali versus Leva. Hold on, let me finish. Ali versus Leva, 6 out of 10. Dumb. Pass. The next thing we get is probably the goofiest, dumbest fucking thing I have ever fucking seen. Nakazawa versus Jabali, whatever kind of fucking name that is. This was stupid, Ben. This was goddamn ridiculous. There's no way that. Go ahead.
I mean, if you watch this, there was an event that happened between CEO and New Japan, you would understand that these two had a match between one another, and Nakazawa won. This was happening last year, and this time was like a build-up because like the guy wasn't injured at the time, and they made it the same flow as that happened this time.
It was just not good.
All right, well, let me say a quick piece on this and on how I feel about this, and I don't want. You know, people always attack me whenever I judge AEW for things. But let me be honest here. Maybe down the road after you've been on television for quite some time, this would have been a great spot. I'm not going to deny the fact that it was funny, it was entertaining. But this wasn't the time and place for this. You're coming out hot out the gates. You're trying to show the world why you call yourselves All Elite Wrestling. You're the #1 spot in the world for people that want to come out and show off their in-ring abilities. You want to prove that you have better wrestling content than the WWE. And then you have this gimmicky, goofy, silly match on your second live,
back to back.
On your second live event. What are you showing us? You're not proving anything other than you're just another.
It's just another promotion. That's all it is, honestly.
Gimmick. That's what I'm saying. That's the fact though, is that it's all the shit talking and all the tweets and all the interviews and all the bashing of WWE for all the things that they do wrong, and then you're coming out with your second show and you're doing the same trash. You're doing the same bullshit that you're complaining about. Like, that's why I say maybe later down the road, after you've established yourself as a company, you've been going live on television for a few months, this would have been excellent. It would have been 10 out of 10. But I think for the time and place that it happened, and all the backstory and history that you're trying to prove for yourselves, it was the wrong time and place to do a spot like this. That's my personal opinion.
Yep, same as Baron Corbin's like mistake, being Universal.
But the WWE's been around for
generations.
Man. They can do whatever they want.
Yep,
you do not listen to anything anyone says, Vin. You're so stuck in your own mind that you don't even. How can you possibly just 110% disagree with what I just said? You can't even. You have no understanding of what anyone says. You just totally shoot it down, no matter what. Why is AEW? Why is everything that they do a 10 out of 10 to you? Like I don't understand. You don't have anything bad to say about anything they do. Why?
Hang on. You wanna know why? Because Vince always fucking ruins the WWE.
What's that have to do with Vince? What are you talking about? We're not even talking about the WWE.
Okay.
No,
Okay, Street, hold on, wait, Ben. I want to point out something that Street said in the chat. He said, Soul, the match was made because of CEO sponsor.
I know why the match was made.
I know too.
I think that
makes it
that has
worse.
nothing to do with what I just said.
To me, that's like
that makes it even more gimmicky.
A sponsor match.
a sponsor match
is more like selling out than anything else I can think of. We're gonna put on a bad match. We're gonna put on something that's not as good quality as the rest of the things in order to placate a sponsor. It's just as bad as WWE going to Saudi. Well, it's not just as bad, but it's like Saudi. They were selling out pay-per-views to Saudi Arabia.
I just don't understand how anyone can take what I just said and not listen and not understand how it doesn't stick to your brain. Like, I just laid it all out on the line, and how can you just blow that off? Like, it makes perfect sense. Everything I just said makes perfect sense. I already stated that it was for fun. It was gimmicky. It was silly. It was goofy. I just said that your second live event isn't the time and place to do that when you're trying to prove to the world that you can put on the best in-ring performances, the best wrestling content for the fans. It wasn't the time and place for it. I'm not denying the fact that it was meant to be fun.
I get what Streetkilln says. The event's known for its strong ties to the fighting game community. Fighting game players compete in a wrestling ring during the event's tournaments. I don't care. I wanted to see good, entertaining matches. Even if it was meant to be fun, it wasn't. I didn't enjoy this at all. Because going into it, I don't know nothing about any of this shit. So to me, it's just an idiot and a wrestler going in there and doing goofy shit.
I don't want to.
They didn't explain what the CEO gaming was. They didn't explain the sponsorship. They didn't explain any of that. I'd count all this as the pre-show because there were just as many pre-show matches as there were main card matches. I count my ratings for WWE counts the pre-show twos. I'm holding everybody to the same standard. This was dumb. So we'll move on here. Christopher Daniels versus SEMA, not bad. I'd give that a 7 out of 10. It did what it was supposed to do, and it was showed that Daniels is a veteran. Was over 1,000 matches and all that, and that kind of told the story right then and there. I'm fine with that. Happy with that. Let's move on. Yuka Sakazaki versus Riho versus Nyla Rose. For a women's match on AEW, I haven't been very impressed with much of their stuff, but this time I was pretty impressed. I thought this was actually a pretty good match. It had different dynamics than WWE is known to do. JR said some goofy shit about sad wrestling face. I was like, what the fuck? So that had some good quality moments in it. I'd give that probably an 8 out of 10. So tied for the best grade so far. At this point, Ben, it would be literally mathematically impossible to be a 9 out of 10.
Okay, and
I wasn't meaning for you to say stuff after that. I was just telling you. Stop talking.
Do not worry about that. No. Okay.
So, fatal 4-way match: Hangman Page versus Jungle Boy versus Jimmy Havoc versus MJF. Perfectly fine with this. No problems there. It was really entertaining. I like that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus dude. I thought that was pretty funny. They make a good team. The match itself was great. No problems there. Cody versus Darby Allin. Really, really good stuff.
See,
there was what?
Can I backtrack just for 1 second? I just want to say one quick thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
About Christopher Daniels. I used to be a huge Christopher Daniels fan back in TNA's prime days, and I will say this about Christopher Daniels: he still is good. He can still wrestle, but I think at this point in his career, it's too late for me personally. I feel like it's too late for him to be a key factor in
to be a big yeah.
He's 49 years old. He's the same age as Triple H. Like, he's not going to be around much longer.
Yeah. I feel like they might do some kind of, get this guy a belt and let him go out on a high note or something, Yeah, I can understand that.
He needs to win a title and do it soon.
Yeah, and then leave.
And that's why Chris Jericho is competing for the belt.
So, yeah, I agree, I completely agree. So we've got Cody versus Darby Allin again. No problems here. This was a perfect example. Well, there were some problems, but not to do with the match itself. The match itself was great. Darby Allin was really impressive. There was something new here that WWE doesn't do very often, and when they do, it's just stupid. There was a draw because of the time limit, and that was really interesting. Something that I'm not used to seeing. Something I was intrigued to see how it goes. The
ending of it.
The thing that I have a problem with was an unprotected chair shot delivered by Shawn Spears that busted. Hold on, with every I've been concussed. I've had friends who have had some small issues with CTE. I'm not like friends with professional football players or anything, but I've got some friends in the military who've had to deal with CTE, and it's just, I know all too well the dangers and problems associated with CTE, concussive traumatic encephalopathy, something like that, some kind of weird E word. But either way, it's bad stuff. You don't want to be putting people at risk that bad for the entertainment or for the sake of us. I would rather see anything other than somebody getting their head bashed in and busted open. That's one of the reasons I was so disappointed in that whole Brock Lesnar Randy Orton thing that happened in WWE back in the day. It hit too close to home, and you've got to think, you've got so many examples of how this can cause serious problems. I mean, just look at Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and all these people. I'm not saying, I know that some people have blamed what happened with Chris Benoit on CTE in combination with, other things and other issues. And CTE, as far as Eddie Guerrero, to his drug use, to deal with the issues that arise from CTE, and a lot of drug overdoses and stuff like that are a direct result of CTE, and I just can't condone in any way, shape, or form unprotected chair shots to the head. It's just not worth it at all. So that lost points for me. I would give that match a 7 out of 10, where it probably would have been a 9 out of 10. I was really impressed with the Darby Allin Killswitch Jr. guy. So next we had the Elite versus Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. Again, pretty awesome match. And as Street was saying, they have deep ties to the fighting game community, so they came out as Ryu, Ken, and Akuma from Street Fighter. That's all they had to do. They didn't have to do the CEO bullshit at all. They got their tie-in right there, and it's enough. It was perfect. Great. I liked them coming out in the crazy outfits. The one thing that was, I can say about AEW is that they are extremely predictable. Like, I could make a killing at the bookies betting on AEW, because I would be right like 8 out of 10 times, because they telegraph everything. You know how things are going to go because of either the previous matches or what the people who are fighting in the matches are aiming to do later on. So because we knew that Kenny Omega had lost in his last match, being that high up on the totem pole, he's not going to just sit there and lose and lose and lose. He's one of the biggest draws to the company, so he's got to get some wins. So there was no way that the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid were going to win this one. Yeah. It was a good match. There was a whole bunch of shit going on. It was pretty crazy, and I had no problems here. 7 out of 10. Then we had the unsanctioned match, Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela. This was crazy. There was a whole bunch of really crazy, the thumbtacks and all that stuff. I mean, it was cringy in like a good way. Like,
hang on.
What?
Why did we not get this Dean Ambrose in WWE? Why did we not get this?
Man, stop. Well, maybe maybe not later. Do you think that this stuff that you just saw here is going to be on TNT, Ben? You think they're going to put thumbtack matches on TNT?
Probably.
No. They're not. This is
ECW.
they're not going to do it anymore because this is a new time. This is a new day and age. They're going to have that stuff strictly on pay-per-views where it's not going to hurt the image of Turner Broadcasting and all that stuff. But the match itself was crazy, and then Kenny Omega came out and attacked Jon Moxley, and you know, you got a whole bunch of little stuff going on there with backstory. I'm all for it, following the storylines and leading into the next things. I'm completely cool with that. No real problems there. If I were judging it just based off of just the main card, I would give the show an 8 out of 10. And I'm not saying that you're just... I'm saying, Ben, you've got to tone it down. You can't just jump all over it, and because it wasn't all around. Every single match just blew your mind, and if it doesn't do that, it can't be. I don't think I've given a 9 out of 10 to anything I've ever watched on WWE or AEW or anything, because you have to be critical. You have to think critically and judge things, and not look at it from a biased perspective. We're here to critique. We're here to talk about. We're here to be critical. You have to look for the negative things, and if you don't, then you're doing a disservice to everybody that cares about what we have to say and everybody who listens, because you're not giving them the truth. You're just being 100% influenced by the things you see and hear, and you're not forming your own opinions. Mic drop.
Okay.
Well said.
Well. So here's the problem, right, Sheep?
Good job, guys.
Is I am not very critical, you know, of course, like, so on this. The only thing
you're critical on is Brock Lesnar and Baron Corbin.
Is the freaking wrestling, alright? Is the wrestling. Because
okay, there wasn't good wrestling. There was not good wrestling. Hold on, you said it's the wrestling. There was not good wrestling in Ali versus Leva. There was not good wrestling in Nakazawa versus Jabali. There was average wrestling in at least another match.
I know.
So you said you're judging this based off of wrestling, and you didn't.
Okay, Sheep. Can you please just tone that whole thing down, right?
No.
Because here's the problem, right? So here's the difference between AEW and WWE, right? Because AEW,
there's
they
no
go
difference,
to their
dude.
full fucking limits.
Literally, every promotion copies what WWE does. It's the same shit.
Hang on. So
I will smack you.
Do you think WWE...
Don't call him Soul on my podcast.
So Extreme Rules... Okay,
we got the same names.
Dole.
Dole.
Bob Dole. I'm Bob Dole.
Call him Dole. People know me as Soul here.
I'm Bob Dole.
Do you see, right? So maybe at Extreme Rules, do you think WWE is going to have, like, you know, that type of violence on their show?
No, they're not. No. They're rated PG.
Because that's exactly what I mean. Because they're
rated PG.
They can't do the same stuff that CCW does.
I'm sorry.
Or GCW.
PG era is just the bullshit of the entire WWE. This is where the WWE has now failed. Because they
don't do super duper extreme matches.
Because they don't slam people on tacks. They're failing.
Because they're not slamming people on thumbtacks.
They ever have been. Then they're worth more money now than they ever have been. So in what way are they failing?
Yeah, because of like what side?
It doesn't matter why.
Did you not watch and speaking to everything that you're saying right now? Did you not watch Raw and SmackDown this week?
Raw and SmackDown. Okay, SmackDown was
because it wasn't.
Raw was a different perspective.
They were still both shows pushed the limits of what their PG ratings are. They both did things that we're not used to seeing. You had Corey Graves say holy shit. Yeah, it was beeped out, but they don't say that shit ever. And you had things that you don't normally see. You had a less PG version of Raw. And then on SmackDown, we saw something we haven't seen in, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years. We saw somebody flip somebody off. It's not just straight out saying fuck you, but we saw Kofi, give Samoa Joe the finger.
Randy Orton did it like 2-3 years ago.
We have seen
it's been years since they switched up their whole thing. What I'm saying is that these are small little signs.
I've seen them also do that the same thing.
Let's officially start the show. What do you think about that? Let's start with Raw.
So the start of the show for the
Okay.
So the Foreskin Anywhere match, right? We're going to talk about Foreskin Anywhere because this match.
That wasn't the start of the show.
Sheep's gonna lead us off like always. So we're not gonna change that.
Okay, whoa. Hang on a second,
No.
Yeah, this is DWP. Well, this is no FXW here, alright? Thank you.
This is an HRW.
Okay.
I said Sheep's gonna start us off, not me.
Please.
Really, man?
Thank you.
Oh, so yeah, we're gonna kick things off, and with this time, you know, contrary to the way things normally start off, shit just kicked off with a match, and that was pretty dope. At the same time, the finish there, like, everybody acted like it was just mind blowing and stuff, and I'm like, it was like a little bit too much fireworks, don't you think? Like,
wait, what are we even talking about here? Why are you talking like that?
Where Braun and Lashley went through the thing, and fireworks went off for like 10 minutes, but it was clearly fireworks, not explosions. Like, it's pyrotechnic. There's not I know, but it was just I just thought it was so freaking goofy, and and then they're, you know, act like this is, you know, serious and major. I liked the energy. I liked the pacing. I liked that Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman did something that wasn't arm wrestling or tug of war or thumb wrestling or I don't know, crossing swords, whatever they're gonna do over there. It was better than the way they've been starting off Raw for the past year.
Yeah.
I did hear something though about that. I heard online that they're planning for Monday. They're planning on making a new stage for Monday Night Raw. That's why they did the whole angle of going through the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives it a storyline reason to have changed the way that the stage looks, and that's a Paul Heyman thing. It's not just doing something just to do it. It's doing something with reason and with storyline.
Storyline is a Paul Heyman thing.
Yeah. So I'm all for it. It's good. It's good for business. So then we had the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. It ended up being where we get good stuff, we also get bad stuff. So this definitely wasn't a 100% win for Monday Night Raw fans. There are definitely things to leave a bad taste in our mouths, and one of them is the constant reliance on starting a match one way, something happening, restarting the match with new competitors, and just this obvious continue, and it's only just to get a commercial break in. It's not really even to pursue the story or to do anything. I mean, I guess it did pursue the story and the narrative of Samoa Joe and all that, but it's just to do a commercial break and to start a match over. It's really annoying. I don't like it. They need to stop doing that stupid corny shit to do commercials. Do commercials after the fucking match, okay? And then come back and start fresh. We don't need to break up matches. We don't need to restart matches. We don't need to do a whole bunch of 2 out of 3 falls matches just in order to get commercial breaks in. There's plenty of opportunities to get commercial breaks in. It's called after the bell rings.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one.
So, wasn't very happy with that. The New Day versus Samoa Joe and the Viking Raiders in itself was pretty good, but the build up to that was fucking stupid. They should have just had that match to start with, and then that match could have went on for, I don't know, another 5-6 minutes, and it would have been that much better for all of that. We would have had a better end result match.
Much more better.
Much more better.
Yep.
So then we had I had to watch the Hulu version this week, so I missed the No Way Jose versus Cesaro, but I do know that Cesaro did defeat No Way Jose with the neutralizer, and then we got a promo with Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, aka WWE's Private Party. Yes, Ben, I know, but I was thinking the same thing. I know, I do agree that Private Party to me seems like a ripoff of the Street Profits, because from what I gather, the Street Profits have been around longer than Private Party, and they seem quite similar to the Street Profits, and I'm not. I don't know if I'm sold on that, but either way, they're pretty entertaining guys. I like the fact that they were on Raw, even though it was just a promo. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
And then we had Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, and the Undertaker segment.
There was no
Another
reason
Shane
Undertaker
one.
went out there to say like, "Oh, I'm gonna take your souls," like typical fashion. Like there was no meaning.
Did anybody
It's just he
else
was out
notice
there.
that he seemed to lose like what he was? It like turned into he messed up. He's like I can't remember exactly what he said, but you could see him. He like stopped, and then he kept going. But what he finished with didn't make sense with the whole rest of the thing. So
You will never.
yeah, I was like, oh, he fucked up. But besides that, I think everybody's sick and tired of Shane McMahon taking up 10-15 minutes worth of
Yes, we
ring
are.
time for garbage. And we saw it again on SmackDown. And they opened it up on SmackDown, like right after Raw gets off to such a great start. Social media's, going crazy because Raw was better. Raw had those, signs of Paul Heyman. It was looking good. And, then SmackDown just opens up again. Shane McMahon is like, okay, here we go. We're just going to fuck it up.
And Paul Heyman
Yep.
is planning, not Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff is planning to not have Shane McMahon not on TV anymore. That's his goal.
Yes.
And not have him
Thank
have
you.
the title, which is dumb, honestly.
Wait. What do you mean? What title are you talking about?
I'm not 100%
He's on
opposed to
SmackDown,
it.
the
I'm just
WWE
opposed to the
title.
way that they're doing it.
Oh,
It could
what?
be done. It could be done entertainingly. That you can do almost anything if you do it right. You could do all kinds of crazy, goofy shit. You could have Shane McMahon be the world champion for 2 years. If you write it right, I guarantee you Paul Heyman can make it interesting for Shane McMahon to be champion for 2 years. It's just the garbage that they're putting out right now is not interesting. That's the problem. It's not the actual people involved. Shane McMahon can be very entertaining, as we all know, without a doubt. I've seen him be entertaining throughout his entire career up until like the last year. So it's not Shane McMahon. It's well, I guess it probably is Shane McMahon, but
It's Vince, to be honest with you.
it's creative and it's what they're letting
Shane is trying to
people
be
run
like
with,
Vince
even
McMahon.
when they know it's not working. They just keep going with it. So next we had Natalya versus Lacey Evans.
This match.
Pretty bland.
Wait, I thought that
Yep.
we were doing like highlights.
I'm going through the crappy ones really fast. I didn't have time to do much of anything this week, so I didn't get to write down my stuff. I'm slacking bad, y'all. So
Maybe we should have just let Ben run it then.
it's
No.
so yeah, we had that match and it was whatever. Let's just zoom through. One thing I'm really pissed off about, we had another 2 out of 3 falls match.
And same people, Miz and Elias. Oh,
This was
what is
dumb.
these 2 out of 3
Although I
falls?
will point out
What
that
is this?
I don't think that there was a commercial break during the match, or they cut it out of the Hulu version. They cut that commercial break out because when I watched it, it was just the whole thing. It was just the whole
Hang on,
little
Elias
2 out of 3
answered
falls.
moments later with the way typing
Can I point something out that involves the Miz though?
What's that?
Y'all know about how they always show people before the matches. They always show them in the backstage where they're walking down the aisle and they're at the backstage and they're like, oh, this person's gonna have a match. It's coming up next. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They did the same. They did that with the Miz. Have y'all been checking about pointing out about certain puppets that are roaming around the whole backstage and stuff?
Oh,
has been
the
happening
Bray
for a
Wyatt
couple
stuff,
of weeks.
yeah.
Because the Miz, it happened to him again. Where last week it was the same puppet where it was Abby the Witch who was stalking the Miz. They've been doing this as well, and they're hyping it all up. And they're how commentaries are not even no one's saying anything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's an interesting little Easter egg. I forgot to really mention that. That is great low-key storytelling. it allows them to, if they decide to change it, they can be like, what? It was just there. It's not anything. They can choose to go with it or not, and if they go with it, they can go all in with it and be like, we just noticed, 3 weeks ago, it was following, and then 2 weeks ago, and then a week ago,
Yeah.
and they can finally jump into it. There's all kinds of ways they can take that and make it great, and I'm all for it.
I think this believes this is gonna hype up for next week's Raw, because like he could be possibly coming back on that following day, because like when he debuted to the Wyatt family, it's July 8th, and this week coming up is July 8th, so that could be like the rebirth of Bray Wyatt's debut. Except he's in a different gimmick now. So nobody knows what he's going to do. Who is he going to go after? Like what his shtick is.
Yeah.
And that's entertaining. It's interesting.
Yeah. So, I want to cover the Mike and Maria versus Becky and Seth quickly, because there was one part that was really interesting, and that was at the end.
I'm pregnant!
Yeah, and like the only man in the match Monday night, the only man in the match was Becky Lynch, so she'll ask Becky Lynch to get her pregnant next time. I was like, oh God. They're going full bore with that shit. I thought it was funny as hell. And some are saying that the fact that Maria and Mike, that Maria was involved in this match is another clear sign that Paul Heyman was involved, because quote unquote, Paul Heyman has said before that Maria is one of the most creative minds he has worked with. So it stands to reason that Paul Heyman would try to utilize people that he's a fan of, and that have frankly gotten zero screen time in the past year. Okay, Ben. So you're gonna skip past the moment of bliss because that was stupid. Nikki Cross, skip that. Ricochet versus AJ Styles. Now this here was some good shit. So we got AJ Styles winning. Ricochet winning. What's the wait for? What you got?
Yep. Just a quick question.
Okay.
Has everyone here seen the movie Bird Box?
Yeah.
You know the scene in towards the beginning of the movie where the girl bangs her head against the glass window?
Yeah.
That's what Ben makes me want to do. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Who else? Who doesn't want to?
You can continue.
Okay. So yeah, we got Ricochet winning. We got the club reuniting, and we got potentially a nice little heel turn from AJ Styles, all in one neat little package. I'm cool with this. I like the whole build up to it with the club, kind of going and just starting shit. They're even he was talking about your mom, doing shit like that. like people just trying to start fights and shit. So that was interesting. And then it kind of the slaps were pretty good. That AJ slapped the shit out of Ricochet, and Ricochet kind of looked like he was really hurt. Not like physically hurt, but like sad hurt.
His feelings were hurt.
His feelings were hurt. And he slapped him back, and I was like,
to this guy. He just slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was good shit. I really, really liked that. So no problems there. As far as Monday Night Raw goes, we still had quite a few problems. We still had 2 out of 3 falls matches. We still had matches turning into bullshit garbage matches, and we still had unnecessary talk show promo type deals. So that takes away from it, but I'd give it a straight up 7 out of 10 at least. Solid C+. It's a good sign. With you got signs.
They need to keep that rolling.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep showing.
And see here, this is a good another good example for Ben on the whole how you grade things. Because I will agree with a C+ rating, despite the fact that from the beginning segment in the backstage between AJ Styles and the club and Ricochet up until leading, that included with the main event, everything that happened, but in the AJ Styles Ricochet match. That whole thing with AJ Styles in the club I could possibly say that maybe my personal favorite moment of Monday Night Raw from this entire year. And I still agree with a C+ rating for the entire show.
Yeah.
For overall show.
And that's kind of not a good thing, because that shows just how much they're still not doing right. I mean, we can get there. There's a clear path. I see it. You know.
Well, you guys know I've been really, really wanting the club to come back together and to do it right this time. I really like Luke and Carl. I think they're very talented.
They're funny too. They're really funny, and
wrestlers.
They've already got a gimmick kind of thing with the putting the ski at the end of every other word that they say.
Yeah.
They've already got something that's catchy. That's catchy as fuck, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's catchy as fuck, ski. It's really good stuff.
Like they're older guys, but they're still young and cool, and not in a cringy way. They're genuinely cool. You know what I mean?
For sure,
they're not like the hype bros, lame type of cool. Like they're like, I want to chill with these boys type of cool. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
yeah.
Hang on.
They're like Sheep and Soul kind of cool. They're getting old, but they still got it.
There was one little cringy moment that, like, I'll put up my hot Asian wife. I was like, yeah, it's kind of stupid, but it was, you know, funny for what it was.
It's kind of stupid, but you still are like,
because that's been, you know, it goes with the story. You know, he's always bringing up his hot Asian wife. So whatever. So SmackDown, God damn it, SmackDown, what are you doing? Why did you kick it off with Heyman, man, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler, and a whole bunch of bullshit? The only good part out of this entire thing, one good thing, was when it was Kevin Owens. When Dolph Ziggler was about to, it's when Dolph Ziggler was about to talk, and Kevin Owens was like, wait, if you say that it should have been me,
oh yeah, no.
If you say it should have been, I swear to God,
he roasted him.
Yes, that was great. I just knew Soul really appreciated that, because I know you like Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was one of your favorites, but I thought you appreciated it.
I love them both. I liked the sibling rivalry that was going on between them. I like the little argument.
And I am 100% in favor of Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens at Extreme Rules. Make it happen.
Oh yeah.
I heard they're gonna have a match on SmackDown for that. They're doing it on SmackDown.
Well, they'll probably have one on SmackDown, and that'll lead to the one on Extreme Rules. You know, they'll add a little bit more story to it.
Can I go back to the Bullet Club thing? The club with the whole Styles and Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, is that who the club is? Okay. Shit, I thought it was turkey, bacon, and. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I mean, they had Balor at one point, but do y'all think that Finn Balor should be added to that?
Not now. Not right now.
Not yet.
Maybe after a year. Maybe they have a big feud with him, and then after the feud, they go and move on to their next victim, and they're having trouble, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the lights go off, lights come back on, and Finn Balor's there, and he fucks them up. Heel turn. Surprises everybody. What? Yeah, make it exciting. Make it memorable.
I think they should try to lead it into something leading up to Survivor Series. I don't want to see another shitty old five guys from Raw versus 5 guys from SmackDown. No one cares. I want to see 2 good, strong factions go against each other at Survivor Series. I want Undisputed Era versus the Club type shit. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that would be good.
Almost like War Games, like they did at War Games.
Yeah, something like
they did a War Games in the main roster.
Yeah, like they had the 2.
Something like that. I want something like that standard at Survivor Series.
It was like War Raiders and the Undisputed Era, and then you had Pete Dunne and Ricochet with the other group there. I can't remember what it was, but it was awesome.
They were the War Raiders.
Yeah, they were
the
War Raiders. So.
Oh, wasn't Sanity in that too?
I think Sanity was in
it was
Sanity was in the first one, but Sanity wasn't in the second one.
Oh, okay. I'll get
The
them
second
mixed
one
up.
was a 4-on-4.
Yeah, I'm talking about that first one. They had like 2 big teams, like 5-man teams,
Authors
wasn't
of
it?
Pain was a part of it too.
Yeah, it was like Authors of Pain and Undisputed Era versus like Sanity and like 2 other, like, wasn't it Gargano and Ciampa or some shit?
I think so.
Or Roderick,
know who-
Roderick Strong.
Roderick.
It was Roderick
No,
Strong and somebody else.
Oh yeah, it's
Roderick
it's
Strong
Roderick
and,
joined
and the
you.
AOP.
Yeah.
See,
That
it
was-
was
Roderick
so
Strong
it was Roderick
and
Strong
Authors
and
of Pain
AOP
versus
taking on.
Sanity versus
Yep.
Undisputed Era.
Ah, so 3 teams. That's what I knew. There were a lot of bodies in
3
that
teams.
one. That was a good one.
That's-
I dug it.
That's when Roderick Strong joined Undisputed Era.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Nah, I think
Not
that
quite.
was like after. That was after.
Yeah, he joined
No, that's
Undisputed
like a
Era
one
when he
thing.
turned on
Pete
when
Dunne.
he Pete Dunne.
Okay, I don't know. My life's a blur.
Yeah, mine too. So we had Daniel Bryan versus Big E, and I mean, as far as matches, kind of like out of nowhere, this was good. I didn't mind this match at all. I mean, solid 7 at least. I was into it. I dug it.
Which one?
Big E versus Daniel Bryan. There was a lot of interesting dynamics. Big E is such an underrated wrestler. I mean, he can do a belly-to-belly suplex like nobody else in this fucking business. Like, they look awesome. Like, anytime he suplexes anybody, it looks great. And not many people, like, have that where when they... Not many people can execute moves like that so perfectly. Like, one person that comes to mind, and it's only 2 moves, it's only his 2 finishing moves, but it's Baron Corbin. He can hit the End of Days and the other one out of nowhere.
And the deep,
Deep
six.
Six.
The Deep Six, and they look awesome
then
every time he does
misdirection
it.
Very
clothesline.
cringy moves.
The
Don't
misdirection
forget the one where he
close
slides out of the ring,
that
like his
doesn't
actual
always
comes in
doesn't always
clothesline.
go so well. But the other 2 moves, always
sorry.
it's almost like The Rock and his Spine Buster, or those just they can hit this move perfectly every single time, and it always looks amazing.
I got 2 things to say. One is, first of all, what you meant to say is Baron Corbin can execute any move that he pleases at 100%. He just chooses not to. That's part of his gimmick. And second of all, you said it yourself. You just compared Baron Corbin to The Rock, which means Baron
duh.
Corbin is today's most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Absolutely. What do you got to say to that, Ben? What, Ben?
Also,
Say something.
also, for a quick third thing, Baron
Sorry.
Corbin is your next Universal Champion.
No,
It's
he's not
happening.
gonna be.
And,
Because
and
you wanna
moving
why?
on.
Because
And
it's
moving
already
on.
written
And moving
in,
on.
because it's already written on Seth Rollins is gonna be Baron Corbin, and of
I
course
didn't know
retain
that
his
is happening.
Universal
I didn't know Seth
Championship.
Rollins is retaining.
No, you wanna know why? Okay,
Oh.
you wanna know why?
Yes,
Because
why?
Seth Rollins
I
is
heard
better
Paul
than
Heyman is
Baron
a-
Corbin.
I heard
Seth
Paul Heyman
Rollins
is a
better
huge Baron
than
Corbin fan.
Corbin. No, he's
Oh,
not.
Paul
He's
Heyman
just-
loves Baron Corbin.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be a Paul Heyman guy.
He's been quoted as saying
Whoa,
he's the next
whoa,
big
whoa,
thing.
Hang on. Wait, I just realized, right? So if
What?
Baron Corbin if Baron Corbin wins, remember who else?
That's what Becky calls him.
Well, he's
That's why I'm saying they could. That's why I'm saying there's so many great
Mr.
storylines that they can do with
Brock
this.
Wait,
If Baron Corbin wins, that means that Becky Lynch lost her
Lesnar-
title too, and that means there's
No,
going to be
Lesnar
some
can
boyfriend and
cash in.
girlfriend problems,
Wait.
and we're going to get some good storyline stuff out of that. I'm happy with it. I dig it.
What if WWE's first
Wait.
intergender match is Becky versus Seth Rollins?
wait. You want to know what I just realized? Because there is actually
Winner keeps the dog.
so when Baron Corbin wins though, that's the
Dog's
problem, right?
in a Shark
So
Tank
Baron
above
Corbin wins, then Brock
Marie,
Lesnar
little
cashes
puppy.
in.
Dog custody
Whoa.
battles are probably worse than child custody battles.
Dog on a pole match.
Hang on.
It's like, I don't want the kid, I just want the goddamn dog.
Yo, you want to know
I'm
something? I think I know exactly what's going to happen, right?
You know the kid,
So
I
Baron
can't get
Corbin-
another dog.
So he's going to win at Extreme Rules.
Maybe I know
Then
what's
let-
going to happen.
Okay. Hey, you sound like Speak here.
Oh, are you?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So here's the problem, right? So Baron Corbin. He's gonna win.
Nice
At
segue,
Extreme
Ben.
Rules. And then, and then Brock Lesnar gonna cash in on Baron Corbin. And then the next night after, hang on. And then the next night after, Seth Rollins is gonna and then Seth Rollins is gonna threaten to walk out of the WWE if he doesn't get his rematch. And he actually gets his rematch. And 1, 2, 3, Seth Rollins wins the championship back. That's how I now see it.
He's gonna threaten. He's gonna threaten.
He's gonna
walk out.
Oh, he's
really gonna show him. He's gonna go out there. I'm just gonna.
Oh, he's gonna
So
threaten.
he's gonna say, you know what? Give me my rematch, or I'll walk out of the WWE forever. And
And they'll say, okay, go play with your buddy John Moxley and some thumbtacks. Have fun.
Vince McMahon, and Paul Heyman, they would say, all right, you know what?
You're gonna fucking rupture the spleen.
Everybody's replaceable. Everyone's replaceable.
Your rematch tonight. There you go. And instantly wins back the Universal Championship. That's the only way how to tell good storytelling.
Is your wet dream over?
No, it's not.
It is. It is. You wanna know why? Right? So I know, so the whole rematch clause, right? They're gone. But the problem is that so who has
made up
like a lot of rematches recently?
We told you already. Throw out all their rules. Throw the rules away. Though they don't matter. Throw the wild card away.
It's like watching Whose Line Is It Anyway.
So that means Seth Rollins will be able to have his rematch clause against Brock Lesnar for that Universal title and win. That's the best. That's the best way how to get Seth Rollins over. That's the best way.
Seth Rollins is not over yet?
We don't want Seth Rollins to get over. We're talking about how to get Baron Corbin over.
No. Okay.
Are you trying to say that Seth Rollins is not over?
Baron Corbin.
Here's the problem. Your new catchphrase.
Baron Corbin's not over.
Here's the problem. Replace. Let me just say real quick.
Maybe a good talker,
Ben,
but he's a bad
explain to you why you're wrong.
To be honest, and Baron Corbin should be fired from WWE.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because the WWE does not need Seth Rollins. Because if he leaves, all they have to do is bring Kona Reeves up to Monday Night Raw.
Oh God,
he's replaced already.
Oh God, no!
You just had to go there.
Just put Kona Reeves in some tights and have him stop and say burn it down and forget Seth Rollins even existed.
Eric Bugenhagen.
I actually just realized.
Kona Reeves is gonna be part of the Samoa.
I mean, you could have went with Mustafa Ali or anybody, but you had to go straight to the Kona Reeves, huh?
Oh, Kona Reeves is the next Rock, bro.
Mustafa Ali. What is his gimmick right now?
More dick sucking.
What is he trying to do?
He's a motivational motivator.
I'm sorry, Baron Corbin should not win the Universal title. He's not ready yet for that title yet. He's not ready.
Well, I mean, he already does like the Tony Stark on his glove thing.
He's not fucking ready for that Universal title yet. So he should just.
He's part of SmackDown.
Okay. We're not talking about fucking Mustafa Ali.
We literally are. We literally are talking about Mustafa. That's exactly what we're talking about.
He's a true street prophet.
He's a true American hero.
The street prophets.
Well, also, so if Seth
he is. That's what he is. He's a street prophet.
I hope you get cursed, so every time you say Seth Rollins, you start choking like that. So you'll stop saying it.
Although, if Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans loses, then, so what actually happens, right? Then that means that...
You know what happens if they lose, then it's going to be boring and not interesting at all. And nobody's going to care that the match even fucking happened.
There's going to be so better storylines for them. But
for who?
Baron Corbin at the moment... So if Baron Corbin wins the Universal Championship...
Right, shut up. We're just moving on. We're moving on. Samoa Joe and Kofi Kingston had a little bit of a thing. They started talking. Yeah, so Samoa Joe, Kofi, they talked, and then Samoa Joe was like, you know what, shake my hand, and we'll leave, I'll leave Big E and Xavier alone. I'll leave them out of it. So instead, Kofi's just like, Booyah! Here's the bird. Hadn't seen that in a couple years, have you, WWE? And then Trouble in Paradise.
We haven't seen this in Stone Cold days, by God.
Yeah, we haven't seen that since we let Stone Cold come back on Raw for a little bonus thing, and then he did it just to get the nostalgia for the fans. Like, here's your pop, middle finger, and they probably blurred it out on TV.
They did. They did the whole black screen and stuff.
Yeah, so good stuff. Yeah. But we got the full thing, and the shit-eating grin that Kofi had. Like, did anybody else see it? I thought that, like, the look on his face when he flipped the bird was just, it's just this awesome little, it's almost childish. It's like it's a kid getting to flip the bird for the first time, and his parents are letting him. It's like, it's okay, son, you can do it this time. And he's like,
it's not very New Day-ish of them to do that.
It's awesome. I don't give a shit. They can flip everybody off. I'm good with it. That can be their new thing. They just come out with the middle fingers. And the middle fingers all out there. I'm down with it. It's funny.
Make that as a gimmick.
Yeah. He's just flipping people off and then Trouble in Paradise. It's almost like the flip off in the Stunner.
I mean, he could do the Stone Cold impression very well. Why not?
I'm down for it. So, I'll actually bring up Andrade versus Apollo Crews. It was actually a pretty good match, and I used to not care for
how they jobbed out at Apollo.
I don't care. That didn't bother me because they didn't really job him out because of the extreme interference by Zelina Vega. So, you know, that's saying that basically he cheated to win. Although it doesn't say that in the record books. You know, there's no asterisk saying, you know, Zelina Vega helped. But at the same time, you know, in our minds, we're like, well, it's not like a. You don't lose momentum when you lose a match through interference. It's like, it's almost something that it's a wrong that has to be righted. You know what I mean? It creates a situation where it needs to be fixed, or in most cases lately with WWE, it's just somebody jobbing. But I think with more emphasis on the eyes are on WWE right now because of the change they just made. So people are watching more critically now. So we're expecting things to be a little bit more, and that might be setting ourselves up for failure. But hopefully this leads to, you know, a little bit more. I don't want to, you know, see like 3 months of Andrade versus Apollo, but, you know, a month or so, you know, with some good quality matches, and maybe Apollo getting a girlfriend or something. You know, I don't know, somebody coming out and backing up Apollo.
Sasha
if anything,
Banks.
Apollo.
Sasha Banks, she's coming back from More Than Fingers. You remember that?
I forgot about that. He dug in.
That?
He dug in there.
He dug in.
He had
She's coming back for more. They threw
That's
that.
it.
They threw
That's
that
it.
into
He's
the contract agreement.
He's already been there.
No.
He's gone full on tag team with Sasha
Banks. She's gonna come
Banks.
back as Sasha Cruz.
Yep. Yeah, I could see it. But, you know, Zelina Vega, I've always been a fan, and it unfortunately hasn't really been for anything athletically. But,
yeah, hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, but always been a fan. I'm down for it. It's good. Let's see more Andrade. He definitely deserves to be highlighted. But if they take away the dynamic of Zelina Vega, I'm going to be massively less interested in Andrade. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to be like, well, this Andrade guy, you know, I don't really care. I don't really care about this Andrade guy. But, you know, when he's got Zelina Vega, oh, okay, Andrade's dope. So,
like,
yeah, I mean,
it's
very
to come out next week.
It's very douchebaggy, but I'll own it. I'll admit to it. I'll take that. That's me in a nutshell. I'm good with it. Criticize all you want. I'm happy. So, strangely enough, Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon was actually fairly good as far as match quality. They've had some really bad matches between like Ember and Deville and Ember and Mandy before, and it seems like they're getting a little bit better, like at doing what they're supposed to go out there and do. Ember has always had good qualities to her matches, but there's something missing. I think Mandy has a lot of good qualities, and I don't think there's a lot missing. It's just she needs to be more entertaining in ring. Sonya, I'm not 100% sure about, but I'm sure that. Well, I don't know. I think if anything, she's tag team like material for somebody. Maybe it's just she's in the wrong team right now. But I was actually kind of impressed. It wasn't a bad match, which is what I was expecting. At the end of it, I was like, "What? Wasn't too bad." Then we got Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens versus Heavy Machinery, and which was pretty damn awesome to me, because I love me some Heavy Machinery. Otis is the shit. You got Heavy Machinery plus KO plus Dolph Ziggler, and then you get Dolph Ziggler missing the super kick, and then Kevin Owens giving him the stunner, so we know there's going to be some shit going on down there. I mean, it's... As far as storytelling goes, I don't think Raw or SmackDown missed a beat. Their only failings were literally in, like, some of the matches weren't as solid as they could have been, and, like, the annoying, stupid things, like 2 out of 3 falls matches, and predictable booking, these reliance on these tropes, like turning a match into another match, and stopping a match because of interference or something like that, and then restarting it.
Yeah.
You know, there's...
Hopefully they work on those things.
If they could take those things out, focus on story, it doesn't matter if some of the matches are bad at that point, because you're already invested. You care about the people you're watching, and it makes such a big difference, as opposed to just watching and being like, oh, here goes another week.
Yeah, I think this was overall a solid main event for me. You know, like we said earlier, I love Dolph and Kevin. And what I really liked about this match was not only was it a good match, but part of me felt like if this was just a month ago, 6 weeks ago, we would have seen a definite Dolph and Kevin victory and just bury Heavy Machinery. I love that they gave the match, not only gave the win to Heavy Machinery, continue to push for them, but it also leads into a rivalry between Dolph and Kevin, which can be very, very interesting. So they did everything right here, and I'm very satisfied with the main events from both shows. Good stuff. They're starting to do some things right. You know, I want to finish watching Raw and finish watching SmackDown with the urge and anticipation to see the next episode. That's what I want. I want to see what happens next. That's what makes any show great. Anything you watch on Netflix or TV, it's that feeling of, I cannot wait till next week to see what happens. And we haven't had that for a while. And I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to glance over one little detail on NXT. Tyler Breeze versus Roderick Strong was a great damn match.
I didn't see it yet.
And I'm not going to give any. I'm not going to tell you who won. I'm not going to tell you anything that happened in it. I'm just going to say watch
you can
it.
If you want, I don't mind.
I won't, because I haven't watched it yet. I'm just I've done the Ben stuff. I watched a few clips and I read about it. But I know for a fact that that this was quality stuff, and that it shows that there's a reason some of these people need to be on NXT. It's like they feed on the energy. I just want to say, hold on, let me just say one quick thing. I want to say I absolutely love Tyler Breeze. I love his wrestling, I love his gimmick, I love his charisma, his attitude. Tyler Breeze is amazing, but Tyler Breeze, I just want to say fuck you, because you gave Sheep a reason. Since day one of Dat Wrasslin podcast, Sheep has been ranting about, send him back to NXT, send him back to NXT, and you fucking went and did it.
Yeah, they finally
and it worked.
You made all of Sheep's griping and trolling and shit work.
Apollo Crews, send him back to NXT. No Way Jose, send him back to NXT. Shelton Benjamin, send him to NXT.
You can't do that.
Baron Corbin, yeah, send him back to NXT. That would be
No.
Only if it's to take
Yes.
the title and to be the singles tag team champion.
You can't send a guy who was.
He's gonna win the tag titles and defend them solo.
You can't take a guy who was a kind of a big deal.
You can think about it. Think about it. If especially if he wins. If he comes in and wins the title, he's like, I'm going to show you guys what real wrestling is, what real wrestling was, and why you guys aren't respecting the tradition or the truth. You know, I'm a vet here, and I'm going to show you guys, you know, what's up. And he goes in and he does it, and he wins the fucking title. I mean, there are ways that could be amazing, Soulamazin. I don't see how you can't see that.
Dang it, Sheep. If Shelton Benjamin ends up on NXT this week, I'm gonna done with you, dude. Actually, it might be probably freaking lottery numbers for me or something.
That whole segment of his was like, it was random. He was like, "Hey, who do you think is gonna win the WWE title?" He just awkwardly, they just like, looks like.
I know, right? What do they do? Like just take Mojo Rawley's gimmick and just give it to Shelton instead? Back there looking all weird.
Don't make them have any ideas of having them have Shelton.
I think I'm kind of I'm hoping that it's going to be like this weird gimmick thing that Shelton Benjamin's going to have going on. Maybe he's going to do something interesting. Maybe he's going to do something interesting, which would be great. And I'm totally for it. Make it happen. WWE.
I'm interested who knocked on Aleister Black's door, which they're going to reveal this Tuesday on SmackDown.
It was Goldberg.
No,
honestly,
he probably headbutted his head a bunch of times.
Randy.
This is one thing I agree
it's probably going to be. I heard it's going to be Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt.
Hold on. Let me hear what Saul had to say. What?
I agree with Ben. I think it's going to be Randy Orton. I just have that feeling because Randy Orton hasn't been on TV. What else is he doing?
And it has to be somebody that we don't mind. We don't mind losing.
He's a guy that can get Aleister over.
Yeah, it has to be somebody we don't mind taking an L. That can take an L and not lose anything.
I mean, I've been watching him since I was able to walk, so it's like
I can watch Randy Orton lose anytime. I'm cool with that. I can always watch him win. It's like I've seen. I'm not mad. I'm not mad when he jobs.
That so bad.
It's like
Randy Orton's not that old.
No, not as old as some of the part timers around.
He debuted in the early 2000s in WWE.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, they're gonna reveal who Aleister's opponent is on SmackDown this week.
When Ben was able to start walking.
So that should be interesting. So we got 2 weeks for Extreme Rules, huh?
Yeah.
Did anything good happen at the G1 thing, though?
They had
I call that 2 weeks.
One match of the night they had on the G1 Climax. It was Kota Ibushi versus Kenta, and that was a solid 4 stars.
Was it the first round of G1?
It was the first round. This is the A block right now.
Okay, so there's different sections.
I need to go back and watch that.
And the main event is Okada versus Tanahashi, and they also had what's else? They had Will Ospreay versus Vance Archer, and who else did I have on there? Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. versus somebody. I don't know who he fought.
All names that I'm starting to recognize at this point.
Yeah, I need to go watch that.
Wait, they had Roppongi 3K taking on Guerrillas of Destiny.
They had They had Jeff Cobb and a Young Lion taking on Tomohiro Ishii and a Young Lion. And I think they also had
an actual Young Lion.
Liger. Yeah, it was the same Young Lion that was on Jeff Cobb's.
No, not those type of animals. It's just like
Young Lions are basically. It's like how you describe somebody in WWE. They're like developmental guys.
I'm sorry. I know.
like rookies.
I know.
So,
I was just thinking of dudes.
So here's some interesting predictions here.
I knew what you meant.
So what if you got the reuniting of the club? That's obviously too much for Ricochet to take on his own. So some people have speculated, what if the reason the Street Profits are hanging around is to team up with Ricochet against the club, and you get two guys who are decent high flyers, and you got kind of a powerhouse guy and Dawkins. Montez Ford's the tall, skinny one. So you got two high flyers, and you've got the bit of a powerhouse. It's a pretty good unit. I think that would be interesting. Ricochet and the Street Profits versus the club. What do you guys think about that?
I could dig it.
Let's see how it goes.
I think it could be good.
So,
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Well, we do have like like massive news. The pay is going to be happening on Raw. Sorry, okay. Rey Mysterio is going to be returning back to Monday Night Raw next week.
Oh gosh.
On Raw
sorry, not
this
that,
week,
not,
I should say.
Not that.
On
Sorry,
this
I was
Raw.
reading something.
So yeah,
I
Rey
have
Mysterio returning.
Two pretty cringy rumors here.
Well, your thoughts on Rey Mysterio?
I just saw one with Bray Wyatt joining Roman Reigns.
Oh my god, no,
it's
don't
not
tell me
happening.
that's gonna happen.
I think they're gonna have Heath Slater be a part with Bray Wyatt. Not Bray Wyatt.
I think so too,
Roman
because
Reigns.
of that segment that happened with Heath Slater.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre got beat up and stuff.
There's a lot of rumors swirling around right now that maybe at the next Saudi show, or maybe in an effort to one-up AEW at one of their big 4 pay-per-views, WWE may be trying to do Undertaker versus Sting.
I heard that.
Two part-timers now going to go back-to-back again.
Sting's not even a part-timer. Sting is a no-timer. He hasn't wrestled in 10 years.
He can't come back either. He has a broken
They
neck.
should have done it at WrestleMania. That match is WrestleMania worthy. I'm sorry, but no, I am not fucking supporting that whole that shit about them taking that match to Saudi Arabia. No, that is just stupid.
But you want to see it at WrestleMania?
Yes.
After the last 3 or 4 matches we watched with The Undertaker, you want to see The Undertaker in the ring again.
Against Sting?
I
Well,
don't want to see Undertaker in
WrestleMania
the ring in
31
general.
at least.
A senior citizen with a broken
It
neck?
could have been maybe at WrestleMania 31.
I was about to say, what,
know,
you want to travel back in time and watch it? What the fuck? You're talking about pay-per-views that already happened.
Don't worry about it, alright?
Alright, what do you guys think about Ronda Rousey possibly returning soon to work with Paul Heyman?
I would rather her work with the 4 horsewomen, like call them up and they do like a taking over, a women faction.
Yeah,
like they've never done that.
That's what they need.
I mean, that could be what it does. Maybe Paul Heyman wants to really do some women's first evers, the first ever women's faction. Maybe they go around, all 4 of them start jumping dudes.
They tried to do that at
really
Absolution and Riot Squad, but that didn't go so well.
Yeah, but those were stupid teams. There were teams with unproven people who, I mean, you've already got 2 champions in Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and you've already got a whole nother side of it if you do the other 4 horsewomen, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. And that's still totally doable.
How about this one, guys? Sportskeeda claims that Fox wants WWE to get President Donald Trump for the first episode of SmackDown Live in October. What do you think about that?
I heard about that, and I instantly judged.
Look, as bad as I don't like it, it would bring people, it would bring ratings, it would bring viewers. I would want to watch just to see what the fuck was going to happen.
Controversy around that bit. Yeah,
obviously, but it's still it's a notable thing to have happen, whether it's good or bad. No press is bad press. No publicity is bad publicity. No press is bad press. No publicity is bad.
Yeah.
You want.
Also, Gallows and Anderson. They have re-signed with the WWE for 5 years. They've re-signed with WWE for 5 years now.
Then they've been made some promises have been made.
Probably. But you know, WWE, they will probably just fucking ruin them again, just like they always do all the time.
You don't know that.
Oh, really? Yeah,
yeah,
look what
Paul
they
Heyman and Eric Bischoff going to be directing Raw and SmackDown.
Look
so
what
you
they
never know they're going to do that.
Look what they have actually done to EC fucking free. Yo, as soon as EC3 got brought up to the main roster, instantly ruined him straight away. I'm like, what?
Well, that's because Vince doesn't know how to book anybody in WWE. That's how it is.
Well, that was fucking Vince's fault. Maybe
and
Vince
Ambrose
McMahon
flat out
needs
called
to
it
just
out
step
on
down and
live
let
television,
Triple H, take
on
that
the podcast.
spot.
Like Ambrose, basically that's what the McMahon has just completely lost it. Is what Moxley said in the podcast. Like he was much of a creative genius in the '80s. In this time of day, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's setting a bad example. So like, as much as like WWE is like, as much as people are saying AEW and WWE are much more of a competition, WWE doing this is probably going to have to step up to the next level. It's like, because once they go weekly, you know, people are probably not going to tune in as much WWE than they are with AEW. People will be watching AEW, but nothing could beat WWE though at that point. So it's now or never.
It is now or never. So, I mean, we covered everything pretty quick here, guys. We got through it all. We got through Fyter Fest. We got through Raw. We got through SmackDown. We covered NXT. We covered the rumors. I gotta say, we did it all in an hour 15.
There is one thing. I know none of you watch TNA, but like Slammiversary is coming up tomorrow, and also I think G1 Climax as well.
Yeah,
I don't know what exactly is out, but Slammiversary, there's a lot of good matches. It's gonna be tasty. It's gonna be cooking, and I think Ben, if you want to cover Slammiversary, if you want to put your predictions on who you think is gonna win, we can.
Oh great, here we go.
Oh my god!
Let me just pull up the card. Where the?
Don't. Let me just say the match card. I already know it already. So basically, Ben, here's what the match card is gonna be. Eddie Edwards versus Killer Kross in a first blood match. Who win in that?
I don't know. It's just like, so we've seen a lot of like, you know,
Eddie Edwards.
So different stuff from
yeah, Eddie Edwards, totally.
What is going on? I think what's going to happen is like, if since Killer Kross has been hinting that he wants to leave TNA, I think they're going to have it where Eddie Edwards is going to murder him. Yeah, he doesn't want to be there, and I think like they're gonna try to do something to write him off, like murder him or something. If that, I'm not sure if he is leaving, but if it does go to that, then might. So if not, then I'm going with Killer Kross on this one.
Yeah.
So we also got for the X Division title, Rich Swann, currently the X Division champion, taking on Johnny Impact.
Johnny Impact.
I would have to say Johnny Impact for this one.
Johnny Impact.
He's not going to
win
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is also I just want everybody's opinions on this one. What do y'all think about intergender wrestling, men versus women fighting?
I think it's fun if they do it right.
Yeah. So, and this one they have been on TNA. They had recently Sami Callihan driving Tessa Blanchard to the mat with a pile driver, and then they did that recently in another place. So yeah, basically it's Sami Callihan taking on Tessa Blanchard.
Okay. It's always cool because then if the woman wins, it's like, oh, you got beat by a girl.
They did that with they did that one Warden person, Scarlet Bordeaux. They made she's trying to be like this whole like strip show type of deal, where she's like basically like a woman stripper, like how Kelly was in ECW days, but like she's like a TNA's version of Eva Marie, and they made a big deal of it, like, oh, whether they had Disco Inferno in there, they'd be like, oh god, this is sick. He's beating up a woman. He's a monster. And I'm always like, cool, it's not that big of a deal. But this one, Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard happening is like, it's quite much better than what they did.
I'm completely opposed to intergender wrestling. I don't agree with it at all.
You don't think there's ever a circumstance where it can be good or entertaining or worth doing?
Maybe a spot every once in a
I'm not saying make it a focus. I'm not saying have an intergender title or take it completely serious. I'm saying in a non-serious way, like a Ellsworth situation. That was fine. It was funny.
Yeah, every once in a blue moon, sure. But I'm talking about for reasons like you saying if the woman gets the win, then it's you lost to a girl. Da, da, da. If you're gonna have an intergender wrestling match between a man and a woman, then you can't pick on the guy for losing. That would be the same thing as saying, "Oh, you beat a girl. How could you?" Da, da. Like, you have to set that state of mind aside if you're gonna support intergender wrestling.
Look at woke soul over here.
If they're gonna be equals, then they're equals. You can't. Oh, you lost to a girl. Haha. No, you're supporting this, so they're equals. You know what I mean? And that's where I think the problem always will lie. And it's not just with wrestling. I don't think that women and men should compete in the same sport together in general. Even if it's baseball.
Against one another.
I don't.
That's exactly
I think they should stay separated.
That's exactly what Eli Drake. That's the reason why Eli Drake got fired in the first place. If anybody knows who Eli Drake is, he used to be somebody part of TNA. He does his gimmick where he's like, "Dummy, yeah." And then it's quite entertaining as a gimmick. He's a gimmick type of guy. And he got fired from TNA because he talked about his opinion about he doesn't think intergender wrestling is really good for his business. It's not his thing. So they fired him, and that's why he's a part of NWA right now, which they had Ring of Honor Best in the World, which by the way was I didn't watch it, but I heard it was very bad on the part. And Ring of Honor hasn't really been doing good for a while. But this one, on the other hand,
wonder why that is. Maybe it's because another company has come in and ruined all the other indies by taking their talent away from them and thereby becoming the exact same thing the WWE is, which is a big corporation that is destroying the indie things that they so love to talk about being a part of.
And Eli Drake has always talked about wanting to be a part of WWE a lot, and then this time it's like, nope, he's not coming. He's going to go to NWA. So
he's not going to get on WWE after saying shit like that.
Yeah, he's hinting like he wants to be a part of WWE so many times or NXT, and then he goes to another promotion out of nowhere. And it's like, okay. That's the same way with Jon Moxley. He didn't like how that WWE's assuming he's going to AEW. Then he's basically trying to lie and saying that he's not. And then he does go to AEW, but he's not just going to AEW, he's going to every other place that he wants to reinvent himself, whether it be death matches or just flat out wrestling. And,
I don't know how long AEW is going to go along with that. It might last for a little while, but pretty soon, because New Japan's not interested at all. New Japan does not want to work with them whatsoever. So, I mean, yeah, they'll let Jon Moxley come over. He's big name, and he's got it in his contract that he can do this. But how long till the executives and the bigwigs start going, well, this isn't actually good for our business if he's selling their tickets and they're not watching our shows, they're only watching their shows. They're taking money out of our pockets now. This isn't so good now. It's going to get to that point, and I think that it won't be long before AEW is doing everything that we get so mad and so uppity about that WWE does. And that's just the fact of the matter. There's billions of dollars involved now. AEW is in no way, shape, or form an indie wrestling organization. AEW is a corporate machine now. It is purely to make money.
It's just another promotion right now.
It's to make profit. WWE. They're trying to compete with $1 billion company.
It's the end of the day, they're gonna flat out be like another Ring of Honor, at this point one day. But yeah. So if I were to go for anybody for Sami Callihan versus Chelsea, I don't know who would win this one. But it's if anything, I think.
That day's coming soon. They couldn't even land TJP.
Wait. God damn it! I actually just What the hell?
All they signed was
Worst
Ty
missing
Dillinger, and I love Ty Dillinger, but that's the only guy that.
Ty Dillinger and Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah, TJP is a part
everybody
of
else.
TNA
I think
now.
I'm pretty sure like everybody else is pretty much re-signed to the by this point.
Well, not everyone yet. Not everyone.
Well, the entire club has.
Yep.
Revival
Maria
has,
Look,
and Mike
obviously.
knows.
I'll say it again. WWE is Eminem. WWE is Eminem. AEW is Machine Gun Kelly. Everything that's making AEW famous right now is because WWE isn't Raw. Who's gonna go to AEW? Who's gonna leave WWE? All the WWE superstars are unhappy. WWE superstars blank is thinking about going to AEW. WWE this, AEW.
Right.
It was always WWE first. And that's 99% of AEW's publicity and was because of WWE.
Basically, what you're saying is the wrestling fans might jerk at AEW, but they're still gonna lay in bed with the WWE.
Not like they're not cooperating. They're not in bed at all. I've spoken. There's no way it's possible. Vince McMahon is too much of an egomaniac to let anybody throw shots at him directly, to say his name and to say bad things about him. No, Vince does care. You can't even say his fucking name in the Hall of Fame speeches. It's like a big deal. The only people that get to do it are like the ones who just can get away with it, and maybe get a stern.
Triple H.
Yeah, I mean Vince McMahon's too much of an egomaniac to let anybody else talk about him in that way. And unless he's making all the profits from it, there's no way he's going to let them potentially hurt WWE's profits. No. They're not in bed.
No, I'm not talking WWE and AEW. I said the fans.
The fans and who?
God.
I said the fans may jerk it to AEW, but they're still laying in bed at night with the WWE.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you said, hey, okay. I got what you're saying now.
It's like the WWE's still their main squeeze.
Yeah.
The only people basically carrying AEW at this point is people who are from New Japan. Kenny,
Cody, that's what I try to
the
say.
Young Bucks.
It is 100% the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks fan base. That's who's watching that. That's who are the big hardcore fans, and then the people who got interested off of the competition with WWE because WWE had gotten stale. There's probably a lot of people who said, I'll give it a shot because they're right. WWE hasn't been that great. I almost talked a few people at work into it myself. So, yeah, I 100% see how they could have gotten some fans directly off of WWE. But they're hardcore fans, the ones who are going all over the internet and, AEW is so much better. It's the best thing ever. It's the greatest. I can't see how you stupid marks watching WWE are stupid, blah, blah, blah. That's... I watched it, okay? So, what I'm saying is that the big hardcore fans, the ones who are... yelling about it in chats and saying that it's the greatest thing ever. They're Kenny Omega and Young Buck fans. They're New Japan fans. They're fans of that brand, and all they've done is turned it into a corporation. They've brought it to the majors. They've made a big deal about it now. So it's not, and it's all been off of WWE's back. They've used WWE's name to garner their own publicity. They Machine Gun Kelly WWE. They put out a diss track.
Yo, it's like vice versa also. It is vice versa.
Oh yeah, because WWE gained so much from AEW.
Yep. Very true. Also, another match
I don't know how you think everything that WWE's doing right now is because of AEW. Then I don't understand that. That's confusing to me.
Oh, excuse me. Hang on, right? So Triple H at the Hall of Fame went right off at All Elite Wrestling, And did you really think that All Elite Wrestling,
they didn't even sell out their second live event?
Respond to
you
that?
Really think they're gonna hurt the WWE? Come on, guys.
AEW would respond to that.
New Japan's been there longer than WWE. They're not hurting anything.
Okay,
and he didn't just like go off on them. He said two little vague things like some other company, and then he used their catchphrase.
That's like
shots fired. Super sick burn. He burned him. No, goddamn.
It was mostly
it was too little.
The most impact.
Wait, what?
What?
He wasn't like a 13-year-old girl, Chris Jericho, tweeting, retweeting, and commenting on everything. It was one little freaking line at the Hall of Fame segment to pick on his friend. Like, calm down.
Alright, so next up on the list on the match card for Slammiversary is the Fatal 4-Way Monsters Ball match for the Knockouts title. So we got Jessica Havoc versus Rosemary versus Su Yung versus the current champion Taya Valkyrie.
Which one's the monster?
I think.
I guess
well, three of them are monsters.
That's just a gimmick name as a way to name it as like a hardcore match, because Monsters Ball used to be for Abyss, and Abyss used to be a part of that a lot of times. So now they always do they did women's ones hardly, but this one they're doing it like now they're doing a Fatal 4-Way, and it's basically like a gimmick style type of match, because there's like three individuals that are like, they're supernatural. They're like dark characters. Besides Taya. They're
supernatural, so, like Sam and Dean.
Like Seth not like
Dean.
that. I guess you could say like a Taker King.
Carry on, wayward son.
Oh my God.
So. Ben, who are you going for this one?
So I'm either going for Taya or Rosemary to win this.
I say I'm going for Rosemary. This one is she deserves this one, because she came back from injury. She came back from an injury and she has not had a title match since for like 2 years, and she lost it at the very same pay-per-view. So get it back to her. If they give it to Jessica Havoc, it feels wasted, because they're bringing back somebody that left in 2014, and Su Yung, they're just giving it back to her, and I'm kind of sick of the Taya Valkyrie era. It needs to be put to an end. I think it's time for Rosemary to get her spot back that she previously had, and she had that title for a very long time. And
good point. Yeah.
It's not, and she's just as over than any other knockout in TNA right now.
Yep.
I think it's totally sexist that they're still calling them knockouts. Like, okay, they're women. You shouldn't be turning them into materialistic things. They're like, it's not. It needs to be. It's like calling them a diva.
Women are not objects.
I'm totally offended by TNA and calling them knockouts.
I don't know. Okay. I never got that over. And also,
flight attendant, not stewardess.
Okay.
Hang on. Well, I know
they're also adding James Mitchell into this, who used to be part with Abyss, and now he's part of the female part where they got now Su Yung and Jessica Havoc. It's a very long story. It's very long to the whole build up and stuff. And whatever happens after Slammiversary, it happens. I mean, and also by the way,
Slammiversary.
Also by the way, Ben, it's no longer going to be the LAX versus the Rascals. Because Bash at the Brewery, LAX lost the titles to the North.
Hey, if LAX breaks up, there'll be X-Lax.
Well, it will be like a three-way tag team match for the Impact Tag Team Championships between the North.
Guess that joke wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
And the Rascals.
Because the North remembered.
Oh God.
The North. They call
the
North is
the
North is because they're
Josh
Canadian.
Alexander. So who do you actually think is going to win that match, though? To be honest,
I'm gonna say I say the Rascals deserve to be. They gave it to the North like very early. Like they just started as a team, and they're like 3 months ahead. And now the Rascals, they've been around for a while, and I think they deserve to be champions. Even though they got controversed, and because like one person wasn't in the match and just decided, you know what, I'm gonna win for the team, even though I'm not part of it. But they've squashed it all up, and they just like gave it back to LAX. So there's that.
I've never heard someone use controversy as a verb.
It's always
they got controversed
in wrestling.
They got controversed.
Oh, I said controversy.
You said they got controversed.
I understand.
Oh boy, Botchamania, put that on there.
You verbed it. All right, that's a new verb. That's to controvert.
Controverting.
Yeah, very
Well,
controversial.
Don't start no shit. I'm not trying to get all controversial.
Just like how Ben controverses his universe all the time.
Well, also BCW. Yeah, so
How
much
does
controversy on that point. There is like more controversy on BCW than there is on
BCW. Come on.
Yes, there
I'm
is.
giving Sheep his opportunity. He earned his opportunity. Soulamazin going to be part of the Battle Royal. You're fighting on the title. It's all good.
How about that controversy on WCSW?
Guys.
Whoa.
Those guys over there.
Sheepy.
No controversy over there.
So there is another match on here. Moose versus Rob Van Dam.
Garbage. Let's just say, I don't get it why they just don't stop with ECW. It began with WWE with the whole Invasion era. They ended ECW. Then we went to 2005, 2006. 2005 they had a stand. It was a beautiful pay-per-view. Then 2006 happened. 2006 they brought it for a show. It was good for like 2 years, and then they wasted it. And then Vince was like, you know what? I'm gonna squash all that. I'm gonna remake a wipeout version. I'm gonna make the show the wipeout version of wrestling. Make it a joke. And they did, but then Triple H stepped in and made it an actual show. Then ECW in 2011 did the whole EV 2.0, Fight Immortal, Hulk Hogan, Abyss, Ric Flair, AJ Styles, all of them doing it. And now they're bringing it back again, and it's like it's too much. It's like the whole RVD and Sabu versus Lucha Brothers. It wasn't stand out to be a very good one. Why? Because of RVD and Sabu. Like, they're not in their primes anymore. And they need to just stop wrestling and just like think about their futures. Don't pull an Undertaker, because you might pull a hip. But there's other people that are much more shape in their 50s than Undertaker. Like, for example, PCO.
So you don't want to see Sting versus Sabu in a hardcore match?
I'd rather see that than Sting versus The Undertaker at this point. And I don't get the whole they've been wanting to plan this Sting versus Undertaker thing.
I think it was Sting knocking on Aleister Black's door.
Maybe.
Wow.
And it could be Undertaker. Maybe he's just bored. He wants to
I think first
somebody.
I think first Aleister Black takes out Sting, and then Aleister Black takes out Undertaker, and then he takes them both out. In a triple threat.
Pass the torch.
He becomes the incarnation of Sting and the Undertaker.
He just wears face paint like Sting and has like a...
Yeah, we're going to end here anyway. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Make sure
there's a main event.
We'll still be in the chat.
One more.
Okay, one more match. Go ahead. What is it?
The main event, Brian Cage versus Michael Elgin for the Impact World Title.
And Brian Cage reminds everyone of the time.
Johnny Cage.
I think Michael. I think Michael.
Wait, Johnny? Did you just say Johnny Cage?
Yeah, Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage. He's gonna win.
It's Brian Cage. His name is Brian.
Okay. Luke Cage. Whatever. Luke Cage. I got it. He's gonna win. Luke Cage is gonna win.
Heyman Banshee. Soul is up the building.
All right, Cage the Elephant. He's gonna win. Good job.
Hey, I like the stuff too. I like their music.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Make sure you check us out next week. Same time, same place. We were about 1 minute late this week, but it's all good. We had some errors with the title there. That's on me. I forgot to copy and paste it back in there when I just started the broadcast. So, oops. Catch us next week. Peace, guys. Thanks.